What if your financial future is already being planned for you? What if that future is not so future, but already taken place? We're going to talk about that next. Hi, I'm Pastor Dave, and welcome to this episode of The Final Hour. We're going to talk about something that is already happening that not many people seem to be aware of. In fact, it can kind of get somewhat confusing. So we're going to slowly go through this process and explain a couple of things that are already taking place, but they have a great focus on your future. It's going to dictate what happens to our financial futures. Not just yours, not just mine, but the entire globe's. Have you heard of the World Liberty Financial? World Liberty Financial. Have you heard of that? See, many people haven't. I'm going to explain this to you in a second. How about the USD1? Again, something that's being used, but not many people are aware of it. USD1. What this does, both of these things are going to be key to our future, especially if we're Americans, but I believe it's going to be key to the entire global future coming up. Now, to explain this to you, basically, President Trump has created this organization, and he has created his own dollar, the USD1. Instead of me trying to explain this to you, let me play about a 2-minute video that will give you some background on this and give me some foundation to go further with this. So watch this quick video.
Trump's crypto endeavors, you probably haven't heard he's printing his own dollar. And maybe that's what he wants.
This is the fastest growing stablecoin of all time.
Everyone's talked about his meme coin.
The president promoting his company's newly launched Trump meme coin.
What do you make of this Trump and Melania coin?
Fewer people know about his decentralized finance project.
World Liberty Financial.
World Liberty Financial.
World Liberty Financial.
And almost no one knows that at the heart of it all is something no other U.S. president would ever think to try. President Trump is issuing his own digital dollar.
We have our own independent stablecoin.
Yeah.
It's called USD1. It's currently the fastest growing stablecoin in the world.
That's Zach Witkoff, the son of Steve Witkoff, or Trump's special envoy to the Middle East. And by building alongside Eric and Don Jr., the Witkoffs have made the Trump digital dollar USD1 a family affair. So it might not be a coincidence to see the Trump's record stablecoin rise get sparked in part from investment out of the Middle East, where Eric Trump revealed the playbook for what's already playing out.
But you can buy USD1, and so you're no longer at the mercy of a government that you might not trust or a currency you might not trust.
All right, so there you go. So President Trump has created the World Liberty Finances, this organization. He's created the USD1, which is a digital currency, basically. And what this is a stable coin. Now, this is one of those terms that not a lot of people are familiar with. Some know a lot about it, others just aren't that familiar. So let's kind of break this down and really help people understand. Well, first of all, let's ask a couple questions. Let's ask a few questions. What are stable coins? It's not a term that's used all the time. So what are they? And how will President Trump, if he's the one to do this, how will President Trump get the world to buy into the USD1? Okay, 2 questions we have to answer. What is this? And then how do we get the world to buy into it? Well, stable coins, basically, it's cryptocurrency. It's digital currency. And when people are using that, there's different ways of using it, but it will be the future. And when this happens, folks, this is what we need to understand. You and I won't have control over our finances. We can't control right now how much money is printed. We can't control how much money is put into circulation. We can control how we spend our money, but we can't control how it's created. And the same thing's going to be in the digital world. It's going to be created in ways that are out of our control. So we can't say, I'm going to step out of this, I'm not going to participate in this, because it's going to be how the world does finances. That's why I opened up by asking the question, are you prepared for what's coming in your financial future? It's being already arranged for you. Now, when they have cryptocurrency, when they have digital currency, right now it's backed by something. There's got to be some kind of asset behind it. When you look at the dollar, it used to be backed by gold. Well, that came off, that ended 50 years ago. So you have fiat money right now. Some of the cryptocurrency is backed by fiat money, meaning it's worth a certain amount of dollars. And that does fluctuate, but it's worth it's backed and supported by real dollars, by money. You also have commodities. like oil or gold. So you can have digital currency, cryptocurrency that is supported by gold or oil or any type of commodity. The third one is, you can have it backed by other type of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is something that people know about. A lot of times when this takes place, though, they over collateralize it, meaning that if the value is $10,000, they're going to put $15,000 in there because a lot of times the assets just aren't there, and they fluctuate so much. They want something that's more stable. So they will over collateralize if you have the choice of the cryptocurrency backing cryptocurrency. So you have fiat, you have money, you have commodities, oil, gold, and you have crypto. And the last one is the new one that's really starting to take off, and that's called the algorithm stablecoin. The algorithm stablecoin. Now, what is this? Well, it is exactly what it sounds like. This is a computer program running your futures. It's going to say, this is what we're predicting. So how are you going to spend and support your stablecoin? Do you buy Bitcoin? Do you sell Bitcoin? If you get a different type of currency, cryptocurrency, digital currency, do you buy it? Do you sell it? Do you hold it? What do you do? Well, the algorithm, it's structured through a computer. It says, this is how long you should keep it. This is what you should do. And you're relying completely on AI for your financial investments and your future with that. Now, that may seem odd to you, but really, folks, it's really not much different than what the Federal Reserve does right now. When the Federal Reserve prints money and puts money out there, they're not saying that we know it's backed by this. They don't have the gold standard anymore. So basically, we're already living in this system. We're just using different formats. We're using real money right now, but we're getting to the point where we're going to be using digital money. People have either real money or they have credit. They're using the plastic credit card. I don't know the last time I really carried hard cash with me. I had the debit card. I'm not going to debt. I'm using my debit card, but I don't have physical money with me. And I think many people are that way. Some people still do cash, but that's not as common. Now, to understand this, we need to lay the foundation. And this is going to be I want to kind of walk you on a journey for this. And when you see the big picture, you go, oh my goodness, you see how it all comes together. Obviously, as we're recording this, there's great tension in Israel. Well, there's always tension in Israel. A year ago, we had the issues in Gaza. 2 years ago, we had the attacks from Gaza. So we have Gaza has been in the focus for quite a while. And then President Trump came out and said that he wanted to create, this resort type area in Gaza where people could go and just have a vacation and make it so extreme and luxurious. And that was the plan. And then he instituted what's called the Board of Peace. Now, this is going to be key. Now, the Board of Peace, we did a teaching on this not too long ago. But again, the Board of Peace is not just one board. It's broken into 3 sections. And I want to kind of break this down so it ties into the digital currency. I'm going to take the Board of Peace aspect and tie it into the digital currency. On the Board of Peace, you have the Executive Board, you have the Gaza Executive Board, and then you have the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza. Those are the names of the 3 boards. Now, the Executive Board, you have people like the Canadian Prime Minister on it. You have Turkey's president on that board. You have the president of Egypt on that board. These are people who are very friendly to Israel, but yet they're on the board representing Gaza, which you would say makes no sense at all until you see what the whole big picture is. When you look at this now, also on the executive board, besides for Canada and Egypt and the leaders in Turkey, you have Tony Blair. Now, you may just recognize Tony Blair as the former prime minister of the United Kingdom, and you may be okay with that. But you have to understand, too, that Tony Blair, once he got out of politics there, he stayed in that area. He created something else. And basically, this board, the executive board, has Tony Blair, but it also has the president of the World Bank. Now, you're going to put these 2 people together. You're going to put Tony Blair and the World Bank. Plus, you have influence from Egypt and from Turkey, again, nations that aren't real friendly with Israel. And you put all this together. When you look at Tony Blair, when he got out of the public eye in the United Kingdom, he started the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Now, how many people are aware of Tony Blair's Institute for Global Change? What he supports with this is smart cities. He's very strongly behind creating smart cities, and he's very strongly behind digital IDs. Now, this institute, not sure if it's nonprofit or not, but this institute that he created, basically what he's done with this, it is funded by Oracle, Stargate, Larry Ellison. So you have, again, the smart city and digital IDs tied right into this. And this is going into the executive branch of the group that's going to be the Board of Peace. Understand, President Trump, his term is going to expire. And they're going to say, well, when Trump is no longer president, we'll get somebody in there. And the Democrats are yelling, we'll put somebody in there. And who knows what people are yelling. But understand, the Board of Peace will continue on. More than likely, the Board of Peace will continue on past Trump's presidency right now. But he is still the chairman. So he will still be the chairman. He'll still be overseeing the power brokers of Egypt and Turkey and the rest of the world that's joining the Board of Peace. And he has people like Tony Blair, and he has people like the president of the World Bank on the executive board. Now, when you have the executive board, I want you to keep the Board of Peace, the World Bank, and Tony Blair, Smart Cities, Digital ID, all in the back of your mind. That's part of the big picture, and that completely makes sense on where we're going with the video you saw about the USD1 and going to digital currency, which will strongly, 100% affect yours and mine, financial future. Okay, now, the God's executive board, that they are responsible for what actually takes place on the ground in Gaza. The executive board is making decisions and putting plans in place, and the plans they make, well, the Gaza executive board are the ones that are commissioned to make it happen. And there you have a minister for affairs from Qatar. Again, Qatar was the one that was the mediator between Hamas and Israel, and you saw how that worked out. And you had the director of Egyptian General Intelligence. So you have Egypt's intelligence service as part of this board. Again, you have Tony Blair on this board, and you have the United Nations Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process, whatever that means. United Nations, Tony Blair, Egypt, Turkey, Qatar, all this coming together to push forward an agenda. Now, that's the foundation. With that foundation, let's go back to Trump's group that he created, the World Liberty Financial. We'll call it the WLF. That was the video you just saw a few minutes ago. That and the crypto token, the digital ID, the USD1. Let me show you something on the screen here. These are some screenshots from the website, the World Liberty Financial website. It says, we're the bridge between legacy and what's coming next. That's a screenshot. You can go to the website. That's right there. How we're upgrading finance for what? The digital era. You've got the people in place that want to go with the digital ID, the digital currency. Everything will be electronic, which means it will have more control, which means we will lose security, privacy, and control. And that's what I'm saying. Your financial future is on the line and headed in that direction. Now, also on the website, let me show you who the powers are when you look at the World Liberty Financial Group. It says, meet our team. And there you have President Trump, but you also have his family involved. You see his sons, even Barron's on there. Again, this is on their website. This is not something I created. You can go to the website, the World Liberty Financial website, and you see it there. And it's already out in the public. Let me show you one more slide. Now, this is from a different group. This is from the stock market, basically. This is how the USD1 is doing in the market. You can see on the screen here how it's gone up, and right now it's gone down. It's going down because of the war going on between Israel, America, and Iran. So you can see where it's taking a dip. But understand it's already on the market. It's something that's already in play. It's not some future dream. It's not some pie in the sky thing. It's already in play. And then going back to a website screenshot, let me show you this. The dollar, what's he calling it? It's the dollar upgraded. The USD1 is the United States dollar one. It's upgraded. It's digital. That's the way that everybody's looking at this and how it's being proposed. And Trump's already scored a major deal with the USD1. He scored a major deal with Pakistan. With Pakistan, using the USD1, he was able to get a financial package in place and actually put a deal in place with a foreign country. Already done. I'm saying it's already in play. It's not some kind of pie in the sky, some kind of thing that maybe someday this will happen. He's already doing that. Folks, this is setting the stage for when we get into the tribulation period and becomes a one world financial market. What's happening in Iran, what's happening with the bombing with Israel and America, people come to me and say, is this Ezekiel 38? Are we seeing Ezekiel 38 and 39 in front of our eyes? I'm saying, no, not yet. Israel's not living in peace. The conditions aren't there yet. But things like this are the stepping stones that will get us to the Ezekiel passage, will get us to the one world financial system, the one world government. Everything is being pushed there. And this is just another very strong step. I say it's a strong step because it's already being implemented. Again, it's not pie in the sky. It's not some hopeful thinking. It's stuff that's already in place and actively being used. So what role then will the USD1 play in the world's financial future? That question is still yet to be determined, but we know the path that it's going on. The USD1 is not yet officially the global go-to resource for this. They're trying to do that. They want this to be the next generation digital dollar. And with President Trump becoming Chairman Trump of the Board of Peace and having influence over world powers, we can see how he will push the USD1 to be that global digital dollar, the go-to dollar around the world. So we're going from the paper dollar to the digital dollar, and he wants to keep America in the digital forefront, basically. Now, how the system works, let me put it on screen. Let me show you a little chart here. You have different types of digital money, basically. The CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, this was the bank controls this. This is money issued by central banks. And then you have the tokens, you have the digital IDs, you have the stable coins, which are tokens, basically. That's where you and I can get involved. You have the stable coins that you can buy, you can sell, but they're going to use that for all types of purchasing in the future. And then you have things like Bitcoin that may not be around much longer, but it's there now. So that little chart will kind of help you understand how things are in process now and will be moving in the future. If that's confusing for you, let's take a step back and say, I don't understand Bitcoin, I don't understand where it's going, but realize that everything is moving to a digital currency, which means we won't have cash anymore. We have been working or moving towards a cashless society for more than a decade now, but now we actually have the players in place and we have the pieces in place to see it come to fruition. Look at this map I want to show you here, this graph here. This shows you countries that are moving, not hoping, not wanting, but are actually moving to central bank digital currencies, where the central banks control it. You and I will have some say when it comes to stablecoins and what we can purchase and use for that matter. But one of the biggest roles that I say the USD1 will have will be when we exchange, I want to say money, when we buy something, the transaction will be instant. This is going to be the big selling point. If you want to buy something on a foreign market, or if you're receiving funds for a foreign market, or if you're receiving funds from maybe even family or friends, it could take a day or two or three because it goes from their bank to your bank, from your bank to you. It takes a while. The USD1, if it's digital, it will happen instantly. So it won't take you a day or two or three to get your money. Now, if you're waiting for some money from grandma, you may not mind waiting a day or two. But if you're in business, and if you're doing international business, and you can have access to funds instantly, then that becomes a big deal. And not only is it quick, but it's you don't have multiple banks involved now. It's an instant transaction. So you're not having the buyer go to their bank and the buyer's bank to the seller's bank and the seller's bank to the seller. You don't have different stops. It's all done with it's one-stop shopping basically, and there's the fees and there'll be lower fees. You're not paying bank one and bank two, and there's no transactional fees involved with that. They'll probably add them later on, but right now that's why the USD1 is being hyped and being sold. It's instant, it's fast, it's cheaper, and you don't go through multiple sources for it. Now, when you do this too, it does reduce for this moment the banking involvement. So it does take some players out of the game, but this is the picture where it gets confusing. If I'm removing players from the game, if I'm removing a bank, the European bank or another bank somewhere else, it should be less control, less concern about privacy and security. But what this does, it lowers the cost, it quickens the speed, but it puts our security at more risk. it puts our privacy at more risk because even though less people are involved, it's more broader. It just becomes it's all encompassing. This it's not fragmented. When you have different banks, at least things are fragmented. This will be all encompassing, which the side of that will be security and privacy will be affected by that as well. And the goal of this again is to strengthen America's financial position around the world. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last because the way the world's going, and I don't see America being huge in the end time. So I'm not sure what happens with this. I just know what the leaders are publicly coming out and saying they're in the process of making it happen. The Board of Peace is in the process of coming together. What they want to do, the decisions they make, is in the process of being implemented. So it could be a 10-year process, and we may not even have 10 years left. But you see what's happening. Your financial future, my financial future, the world's financial future is now being developed and being changed very quickly. And you and I don't have a say in it. Right now, about 60% of all foreign global transactions are taking place because of the US dollar. Countries are starting to get off the US dollar, but they are about 60% right now are still using it. So if I want to buy something from South America, or Australia, I have to take their coin, turn it into the dollar, and buy things with dollars. Well, China's getting away from that, other nations getting away from that, but about 60% of what happens globally is still done with the US dollar. About 89% of debt is still held by US dollars. So as nations are buying bonds and US bonds and other type of debt, it's being had to be set into dollars before it can be offloaded and sold somewhere else. So that's still a high ranking as far as what's happening in the world. But this whole idea of the USD1, what President Trump wants to do is keep the US financially dominant around the world. That's his goal. That's one of his agendas. He wants to keep America as the dominant force, financial force around the world. We'll see how that happens. But financial markets are gradually moving into this. Now, when I say financial markets, this is what we need to understand. Let me show you one more graph up here. Let me show you when it says tokenization. If you look at this graph where it says tokenization, you see physical assets, you see investments, you see art and collectibles, you see debt, you see all these type of things that are on here. Well, this means that no matter what you want to buy, it's going to be done digitally. So you're going to have the digital resources to do this. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about bonds. We're talking about stocks. We're talking about commodities. We're talking about investments. Anything that you want to do financially, there won't be another vehicle to use. It's going to be digital currency. That is what's being put into place now. That's what I'm saying. Our financial future is already designed for us. And now when we get to that point, here comes the next step. Remember that Tony Blair and his organization, he likes smart cities. He likes digital ID, he likes digital infrastructure, and he likes smart cities. This is where AI comes into the program. None of this can be accomplished without AI. So now you add another layer to this. This layer also removes you and I from decision making. Think about this, because this program, if you want to buy a house, if you're going to buy real estate, if we even can buy real estate in the future, if you want to buy, a commodity, basically AI is going to be the one that's going to be the AI agent that will buy it. You will tell your AI agent is the one you're speaking to. It's your Alexa right now for most people understanding. Alexa, turn this music on. Alexa, turn my lights on. Right now it's very basic. It's going to get to the point where your AI agent you'll say, buy this, sell that, invest this, and the AI will do it completely. You won't do anything else with it. And basically, it's going to be built around AI trading systems, which means it can only be done by AI. That's where our privacy and security will take a hit as well. We won't be able to pick up the phone and call another human being. We will be doing it with AI. And the system is designed to have the AI agents be the ones who are performing all the tasks. Again, we'll go in that direction. So your AI financial agent, that's your future, will be the one that will be basically making everything work. Basically, money will become machine compatible. That's the direction we're all going. And that will tie into the smart cities, it will tie into everything else that is being done here. So Systems, your investments will be automated. Your systems will be all AI. Anything that you do for networking or trading or business, it will all be on the AI platform because the systems are done that way. What they're calling it is Rails, Rails. If you want to go to the bank right now and you want to send some money to somebody, you can wire funds. I think many people know that term. I can wire funds. If I'm going to buy a house, I can wire funds to my escrow agent, and the money will be in escrow. Well, the wiring system will be done away with, and they're going to call it Rails. And everything on Rails will be done through, yes, AI. So again, any transaction that takes place will be monitored. There'll be restrictions on place. All that will be done by AI as we look at this. In fact, if we try to do something that's not proper, sanctions. AI will be the ones that will sanction us, and then everything will be automated, even taxation. So whatever taxes they have in place, AI will be the one. We won't have any say. That's the direction all this. Once everything goes digital, we won't have say. AI will be running all this. So the question might be, well, why would the world want to do this? We can see why government wants to do this. We can see why big tech wants to do this. But why would the average person be excited about doing this or want to do this? Basically what's going to happen, people are going to tie this into China and the Chinese city brain. If you're new to Interpreting Times, if you're new to the Final Hour, go to the Interpreting Times website, interpretingtimes.com, and we have a video on the city brain and what's happening in China, where it's a social credit score that you have, not a financial credit score, but a social credit score. And when you have that, China is monitoring that and has it in place right now. And people are going to look at this and say, I can be sanctioned by AI, I can be taxed by AI, I can have a sale go through or denied by AI. They're going to compare that to what China is already living and has in place now with the Chinese brain. So anyhow, if you want to look at that more, there is information on Interpreting Times with that. Now, again, this is when it goes private this way, everything becomes competitive. And when it becomes competitive, we lose, again, privacy and security, because now everybody has access to more information, and AI is the one providing that. We won't have control over that. Now, when people say, well, can this really happen? It's taking place now, not on the scale it's going to, but it's taking place now. What we have right now, when you have these stable coins, the most popular one is called Tether. Now, I don't want to assume that everybody understands that. So let me again show you a video. I want to show you a video. It's less than 2 minutes, but it's going to explain to you stable coins and what Tether is. So let's watch this video.
The way we use our money is evolving. As the pioneer of the digital use of traditional currencies and the world's first stablecoin, Tether tokens have disrupted the conventional financial system. Tether tokens offer the stability and simplicity of flat currencies, coupled with the innovative nature of blockchain technology. A perfect combination of both worlds. Tether tokens are pegged to real-world currencies on a one-to-one basis. There are 5 steps in the life cycle of Tether tokens. Step 1, a KYC-verified Tether user, could be an exchange, an individual trader, a business merchant, or a trading firm, deposits flat currency into Tether's bank account. Step 2, Tether issues Tether tokens and sends them to the user's provided wallet address. The amount of issued Tether tokens that enter circulation is equal to the user's deposited amount minus fees. Step 3. The Tether tokens are used for transactions by users and can be transferred, traded, or stored for later use. Step 4. A user can redeem their Tether tokens into fiat currencies by depositing the tokens into their account at tether.to. Step 5. Tether removes the Tether tokens from circulation and sends the equal amount of fiat currency to the user's bank account. Tether is the only party that can issue Tether tokens into circulation or take them out of circulation. This is the main process by which the system's solvency is maintained. Aside from the aforementioned process, users can obtain Tether tokens currently in circulation via an exchange or from people who hold Tether tokens. Tether, driving the future of money.
All right, so there you have Tether, a stable coin. Now, you might think, well, I've never heard of that. And I understand that. A lot of people haven't heard of that. If you're not into Bitcoin and stable coins, you may not understand that. But please understand this. Do I call it a resource? Do I call it a commodity? This digital currency is already being used, and it's creating hundreds of billions of dollars annually. There are transactions taking place globally in the range of hundreds of billions of dollars annually using, stable coins. Now, if the USD1 replaces this, then what happens? The USD1 becomes the go-to, becomes the foundation, becomes the stable coin. Right now, Tether is the one that most people use. As far as numbers being used, Tether is the leading indicator for that. But President Trump wants USD1 to take its place. So now here's what I have to break this down a little bit for understanding these rails. Again, if you wire money, you understand that these rails, there's going to be 4 components to what's going to be called rails. You'll be hearing this term in the future. One is going to be the USD1. It's going to be digital tokens, stable coins. They're going to have rails that how do you do this so instantly? How can I buy something in England and have it finances go through instantly? Well, it's being done on a rail. Another rail, part of the rail, is called FedNow. Now, FedNow is actually in place and up and active right now. I'm going to give you a free resource when this is done on FedNow. I wrote an article explaining what FedNow is. I want you to understand that. It's something that's happening in America right now. If anybody is receiving Social Security, if anybody is receiving any type of government aid, food stamps, those type of things, everything in those areas, everything the government's doing is being transitioned over. That's a different program. But you also have FedNow. FedNow is instant, so it can go into the private sector. And again, I have an article. If you want more information on that, you can download for free. I'll give that to you at the end. But you have the USD1, you have the digital dollars, you have FedNow, you have any other type of stable coins, and you have the central bank digital currency. So you have 4 different resources happening right now. Here's where they're going. They want to take all 4 and merge them. So the FedNow, which is private, if I wanted to send you some money, I could do it through FedNow. It'd be instant. You don't need to wait a day. If the central bank digital currency is in place, that would come in there. Stable coins, all these things that are kind of fragmented right now in different parts of the world, what China is using and what Europe is using and what America is using, we have our own systems. They're going to put them all together and merge them all together, and it's going to be on these rails. So everything will be done through that. And this is terms you're going to hear probably not in the not so distant future with this. Instant payment. How's that happen? It's going to happen on the rail. We're not going to wire money. We're going to use the rail. So the rail will get us here. Now, again, the foundation for this, FedNow allows 24/7 access. If you're using the FedNow program, again, and you get money in seconds, not in days. So in America, people who understand FedNow are using it because I don't need to, go to my phone, my digital wallet, and send money to you and have you wait a day or two. That's why people are using it. So it's direct bank-to-bank transfer. Imagine instead of being bank-to-bank in America, being global. And again, that's where the rails come in and where the financial system is going. Basically, a rail is a highway system for digital currency. So the internet is a superhighway where the rails will be designed for all digital currency, but it's going to be controlled by AI. And that's just where the future is done. Everything will ride on top of these rails. That's why you're going to be familiar with that term. So stable coins and what's happening with them, again, they're already functioning as digital currency. You can go out and buy some Bitcoin. You can try to invest in Bitcoin. You can buy, sell, whatever you want to do. But blockchain is another thing that you hear people of. Again, it's kind of like Tether, but Tether is the main one, and you saw the video on that. It allows for the instant global transfers for the banking system. It changes the banking system. This is why people are open to it. This is what central bank digital currency was supposed to be. And instead of going in that direction, they're going to put that on steroids and make it on rails, and everything becomes digital, controlled by AI. The question is, will it be the USD1? Will it be some other type of stable coin? We just know that something is coming. Programmable money is coming. And America has been a little bit slower behind that. Europe is ahead of us in this. China's ahead of us in this, but we're working on it. In fact, let me take you to a shot here, a screenshot from a website. And what this website is from the Boston Federal Reserve. And if you look at this website, this is again digital money and payments. The Federal Reserve in Boston is already working on this. So they're working on central bank digital currencies. Once the test is done in Boston, does it go to other central banks in America? I'm sure it does. And when it does, then America has central bank digital currency, like Europe does and like China does. We're not that far away from it. The USD1, the whole concept behind this is you're going to buy real estate. You want real estate is going to be held not with money, but with digital currency. You want to buy commodities. You want to go out and go grocery shopping. You want to put gas in your car. You want to pay for your child's education. Whatever you want to do, it's all going to be done digitally. So you're going to speak it into your AI agent, and your AI agent will do that. Let's call the AI agent George, for lack of a better term. George, pay my mortgage. George, pay my taxes. George, order my groceries. George, we're going to go on vacation. We want to go to Hawaii. So George, give me 6 days in Hawaii, and you will tell your AI agent, and everything will be done. It will be paid for, deposit will be made, everything will be done, and you won't do anything but that. And people are going to think that is so great. But realize every time you speak to your AI agent, it is going out there and putting your information, your credit card, your banking, everything you have out there for other AI agents to pick up. And who knows where it goes from there. So that is our financial future. Again, it's a layered digital system where everything is going to be done through these rails and through digital ID. So all of these layers can be shared through, shared financial groups. So the World Bank, again, the head of the World Bank is on the Board of Peace. Now you see why Trump would put the president of the World Bank on the World of Peace, on the executive side of the World of Peace, Board of Peace, because now I get the president of the World Bank involved with this. I've got people like Tony Blair involved with this. We got digital ID. We got smart cities. We've got the World Bank coming in. We got these rails being done. We have AI being incorporated. And I'm going to bring in countries like Egypt and Turkey and other countries that may have a different idea of what the world should be. And that's the direction we're going. And all this controls how you and I buy our groceries, put gas in our car, pay our mortgages, and just live day to day. This is the direction it's going. What will we have as far as the ability to control what the world is doing? We won't. We won't. If your bank charges you a fee right now, if you use your credit card and someone is fraudulently uses it, you can go to the bank and talk to a person, and they can refund the amount. If something is stolen from you, you can go talk to a person. That won't be happening once this system's in place. AI will be deciding it all. Now, I'm hoping they have some kind of system where you can, rebel or do something and say, that's not right. Someone fraudulently took my money, but who knows what this looks like. So basically, to summary with all this, why would government wants to do this? Well, first of all, the speed. It's going to help with businesses to have money instantly. They want to have more oversight, and this will give governments more oversight if they want that. They will have, again, global competition. Who's going to be the big king here? Which digital currency is going to be the go-to one? And that's why Trump is creating everything to make the USD1 that one. And then technology with blockchain and AI and the digital ID, it's going to require a system that they're putting into place. There won't be any other option. And that's why I think most people are missing. Because, well, I'm going to opt out of this, or I'm going to come off the grid, or I'm not going to do this. There will be no other way to buy groceries. There'll be no other way to put gas in your car. There'll be no other way to do things. You're going to have what they call an AI agent, someone doing it for you who is not real. It's non-human. And you're speaking the words, and it's going that direction. So you're taking all these different layers, and they're putting it together, and that's going to control and dictate our financial future. I'm not sure it's that far away. I think it's closer than we can even imagine because of what's already in place. So money moves instantly worldwide. Transactions are digitally recorded. AI systems, has the AI systems doing this, and government still maintain oversight. So a government can still get involved somehow and do what they want to do. It's the evil powers having their evil ways, basically. So anyhow, I know that a lot of this might be new to some people. I know I get comments when I teach on technology and people say it's over my head. I just want you to take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, wait a minute, I need to understand this because this is the direction I'm going. Now, some of you are very, you have Bitcoin and you already have stable coins. You understand this, so you understand what's coming in the future. But realize that what's already in place. Again, this is not some pie in the sky. Maybe someday, hopefully, these things will happen. No, these things aren't happening now. Now, what I want to do, I always want to resource you. So I have this article on FedNow, and if you use the link in the description below, and just click on it, this article will be sent to you. And if you do that, what we're going to do, we're going to automatically sign you up for our newsletter as well. We put out a weekly newsletter every Tuesday, and I keep on resourcing you. If you already are a part of the newsletter, if you already receive our newsletter, and we have many people who have received our newsletter, just again click the link in the description, and this article will go to you. And in this FedNow article, it talks about paving the way to digital currency, and it's already in place. It was implemented by our federal government, and there's things taking place now that we don't have to say someday. So please click the link in the description below, get this article, join our newsletter, and let's understand this together because God is in control. We know that nothing is going to happen without His hand being on it. It's all going to be with His timing, and His timing is perfect. Folks, we are living in a very exciting time if we understand the big picture. Yes, everything is being put in place for the Antichrist. Yes, everything is being put in place for the systems that will need to be there for the 7-year tribulation period. But folks, it just means that we're getting raptured out of here and eventually the Lord Jesus Christ returns. All these pieces are putting that together. It depends how you see this. Don't get afraid. Don't be concerned. Don't have anxiety over this. The world's going to do what the world's going to do. Man's going to do what man wants to do, but God is still in control. And you and I just need to focus our relationship on Him and make sure we're worshiping Him. We're going to be aware of what's happening. We're going to know what direction's going. I want to know this direction because I want to be able to resource to other people and make sure they understand the direction so that they can be drawn closer to God. Because the ultimate answer on what do you do with all this is you have a personal, deep, intimate relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, I'm out of time for today. Thank you for watching this. I'll be back again in 2 weeks with another episode of The Final Hour. Between now and then, I pray everything you do and say is for God's glory. God bless you.